I tell you, it was the most surreal experience ever for me. I was a, this is my fourth nomination, and I have been there for the three previous nominations, and it's always been wonderful, to be there, to meet so many people, to share with the colleagues, and members of the Recording Academy. But this time, when they moved the date from January 31st due to COVID, I was gonna go, but when they moved it to April 3rd, then it clashed with my shows, my itinerary, right? And I decided not to go. I was playing two shows in the Okanagan with the Okanagan Symphony Orchestra. So Sunday was my travel back home day, and I was driving. We decided to drive. My wife Sarah went with me, and my youngest son Owen. And we were driving, and as we are getting close to Quesnel, that was a massive snowstorm, and I'm like, okay. I decided to drive myself because I didn't want to be glued to the screen on my phone. I said to myself, if I'm gonna win, the phone is gonna ring, So let me just driving. I figured that it will just, make me think about something else, right? And as I'm approaching Quesnel, we go through that snowstorm. I was like, wow, we are back to winter or something. And I looked at the time, and I thought to myself, maybe my category already passed, and I guess I didn't win anything, So I said, whatever, let's keep making music. I have a nice tour coming up now in the US. So that's all it matters for me now. 5 minutes later, boom, phone call. The volume on my car was loud because we were listening to music. The phone was connected to the Bluetooth in the car. So the ring made a huge sound, and we all jumped. Oh, what's going on? I didn't recognize the number, punched to answer it, and it was my publicist. He thought, from the US, he thought that I knew. So he's like, I need you to send me a quote. And I'm like, hey, what are you talking about? What? And he goes, what? You don't know? No, I don't know what. You won. Then we started screaming there. It was like the most surreal thing. He said, I need you to park right now, find a place, and because I need a quote from you for the media. So luckily enough, we were like 10 minutes out. So I said, well, we'll be in the town in 10 minutes. So we parked in front of a beautiful coffee place there in Quesnel called Granville's Cafe that we always go every time we travel down to Vancouver and back. And so, and then a million phone calls, all of my family, a lot of friends. When I opened my phone was like crazy, right? Ringing nonstop. And I'm still floating. I'm still in the air like this. I don't know what time it is right now. you know, when I took the wheel, it was in Catch Creek when I jumped in on, to drive. I put some gas in the car. My family went inside the gas station, and I had a little conversation with God there. I have to be honest with you. I said, if you think I deserve this, please give it to me, And then I said, well, from this point forward, is whatever life wants, And I tell you, it's so meaningful to me because this album, um, I recorded it myself right here in my house. In fact, in my living room, right? I recorded it there, here when I'm talking to you. And so it truly feels something that I want, with every inch of my body, and it's just beyond words, how deep it feels and how meaningful this is to me. I am lucky to be working with an incredible mixing and recording engineer from Ontario. His name is John Beetle Bailey, and during building the album in the middle of the pandemic, we kept each other such great company, because I was inspired writing songs. I was non-stop recording, and he was enjoying what I was getting. So all of that comes to mind now, after the win, and what a beautiful time. I often say that my music is the perfect fusion between a mango seed and an apple seed. That makes a tree that grows in both countries, Cuba and Canada, right? Because obviously I haven't turned my back onto my roots. My roots are there, very present, but at the same time, I have taken something from Canada. And I used to put it into terms this way because being Cuban, being born and raised in Cuba, every Cuban musician has American music influence. Of course, it's so close to us, right? The United States. But I always put it in these terms. I think those influences, that I got in Cuba from the moment I discovered Michael Jackson when I was 11 years old, that I wanted to be like him. I learned how to dance like him. And then when I was 14 years old, I became a bass player, and I discovered Jaco Pastorius, and that was my love, my everything from that point forward. All of those influences kind of has helped me make them into something, make them real. I left the area where I was a fan to become a fan of somebody else's work, to become myself, to utilize those influences in a way that it creates an identity. And that goes to say also that it's always been very important to me to not isolate myself in Canada, not only go find, only people that speak Spanish, or only people, I got immersed into the culture of this country right from the beginning. And so I can see both ways. I understand two different cultures, and that is very important for any Latin American musician that comes to this country, to unify, to project yourself countrywide. Don't just, I don't think it's a good idea to just think, or to think in a way that, oh, my music is not going to be understood by anybody else. I always thought, for whatever reason, God gave me this sort of way of thinking, that if your music is beautiful, it will cross language barriers, because in the end, music is a higher language. It's a soul language, right? And if you take care of that, if you um, really travel deep in your soul, you will connect with other people, and no matter what. And it's my case in Canada. I play, not so much recently, because now, 2 albums ago, I started really reaching further into Latin America. Um, and now a lot of Latin people are showing up to my shows, and I hear people singing my lyrics and shouting the names, the titles of my songs. But I have made sure that my music unified cultures, not separate them, and that is something that I will say to any new Latin American musician that comes to Canada following the dream of music. I actually have met, I was in Lethbridge about 2 weeks ago, and when we went to the hotel, the guy that was behind the counter there just came about 3 months ago from Ecuador, and he told me that he came to Canada because of me. He's a musician himself, so he came to Canada because of me. So I will say, music is love, so don't separate love from anybody. Give it to everybody. Uh, Instead of thinking that because Latin music is fairly new in Canada to Canadians, and of course they don't know anything about Latin music, so they will not understand what I'm doing. No, that is a way that everybody understands, and that way is the way of excellence in music. It's the way of that extra care, so that your music is truly, truly unique and strong. So next for me is lots of touring. Now we're trying to manage that, because of course we are reinitiating, and I don't, like I always say, I don't like going from 0 to 100. That we could suffer so much when that happens. Your health or whatever. So we're taking it easy, but lots of touring in the US, lots of touring in Canada. New music. I'm sitting already on almost a full album of new songs. We're gonna be releasing something brand new soon. My next step, music wise, brings a new sound. I um, I started experimenting with electronic stuff a little while ago, how to incorporate that into my music. I try to work with a few beat makers. Nobody was getting it, because it's a very, very delicate thing, to marry those two worlds. So I decided to do it myself, and we're getting stuff that we are loving. We already mixing, almost done mixing the first one, and we will start releasing single by single of this new music of Alex Cuba that will mark some kind of evolution in my sound, and that I hope, of course, that my fans love for sure. Vancouver, I love Vancouver. I love playing there. I don't feel that I play there often enough, but I don't have a set date as of right now. But I sure hope that that would be soon. Thank you very much. I'd like to say that I am grateful to this country. I am grateful to Cuba, of course, and I'm also grateful to this country, Canada, that has embraced me so beautifully and that has the ability to embrace people, from everywhere. I love being Canadian. I love being from Smithers, BC. That freaks people out. I know that freaks people out. How are you winning Grammys from Smithers? Oh my God. I hope what I've done in my career and what I will continue to do inspires people to believe in themselves and to follow the dreams, because really you can make things happen from anywhere. All you have to do is be focused, is be really in touch with your spirit, and be yourself. Believe, believe, believe in yourself, and follow your dreams. So I hope Alex Cuba, who represents independent music, brings that to other independent musicians that find it hard. I know the industry could be hard, from an independent standpoint, but hey, nothing is impossible.